Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. The Miami Heat have reportedly been concerned for months about Tyler Herro acting like a celebrity despite not playing well this season. Tyler Herro has become a mainstream celebrity after appearing in rap videos with Jack Harlow, dating Instagram model Katia Elise Henry, and selling his own cereal, but it doesn't seem like the Miami Heat are currently happy with their young star. In the team's past 4 games, Herro is averaging only 7 points and shooting an abysmal 29% from the field. In the most recent episode of the Inside the Paint podcast, Miami Heat beat writers Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman revealed that the team has been concerned for months about Herro becoming a celebrity while struggling on the court this season. Ira Winderman said Tyler Herro chose to become a celebrity. He chose to become something outside the game and is his right with his breakfast cereal and his Tyler Tuesdays and his Chipotle bowl. And that's all well and good, but you know what? Other players, when they see a player doing that before they've truly reached it, I don't know if I want to say there's a jealousy. They sort of take a scant view of the guy and say, wait a minute, buddy, you haven't done anything yet. Ethan Skolnick said ultimately the team starts to get a certain level of concern. In this particular case, the team has been concerned now for months. At the beginning of the season, the Heat was reportedly adamant about not trading Herro because they apparently view him as the next Klay Thompson. They've been firm on him and Bam Adebayo being untouchable. One GM told Heavy.com before Herro's explosive night, maybe they would move off of that as the season goes on. But as it stands, they think they've got the second coming of Klay Thompson offensively. They have not had a lot of useful guys on rookie contracts in past years, and that kills their cap. They've got 2 now. They don't want to let them go. Herro is only 21 years old and has plenty of time to turn things around, but it's not looking good for him right now. Okay. That's one news. Let's see. Also in the news, rumors from the NBA is that Knicks could acquire Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Obi Toppin, Immanuel Quickley, and 3 first-rounders in proposed blockbuster. Regardless of the outcome of the 2020-21 NBA season, the New York Knicks are expected to be one of the most active teams on the market this summer. Despite the improvements that they have shown this season, the Knicks still have plenty of things that they need to address on their roster. These includes their need to address on their roster. This include their need for starting caliber point guard who would complement their core of Randall, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson, having enough salary cap space and a plethora of precious assets. The Knicks are in a good position to acquire a quality floor general in the 2021 offseason. The Knicks could steal Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC. One of the dream trade targets for the Knicks this summer is SGA of the Oklahoma City Thunder. In a recent article, Michael Balko of NBA Analysis Network came up with a blockbuster trade idea that would enable the Knicks to acquire Gilgeous-Alexander from the Thunder in the 2021 offseason. In the proposed trade scenario, the Knicks would be offering a package that includes Obi Toppin, Immanuel Quickley, 2 2021 first-round picks, and a 2023 first-round pick to the Thunder in exchange for Gilgeous-Alexander. Trading Toppin, Quickley, and 3 future first-rounders for a single player would be a difficult decision for the Knicks, but Balko believes that it would be worth it if it means acquiring talented point guard like SGA. Gilgeous-Alexander would undeniably be an ideal acquisition for the Knicks this summer. Aside from immediately solving their major backcourt problem, he also also perfectly fits the timeline of Randall, Barrett, and Robinson. He would give them a starting caliber point guard who's also very reliable scoring option, perimeter defender, and floor spacer. This season, SGA is posting incredible numbers, averaging 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting 51% from the field and 42% from beyond the arc, per ESPN. If Gilgeous-Alexander, Randall, Barrett, and Robinson grow together and build good chemistry, it would only be a matter of time before the Knicks start contending for the NBA championship title once again. As of now, there's only a minimal chance that the Thunder would consider moving Gilgeous-Alexander in 2021 offseason. Since they parted ways with Russell Westbrook, SGA is considered as the centerpiece of the next title contending team that the Thunder are trying to build in OKC. However, the proposed trade scenario is indeed worth exploring for the Thunder. By sacrificing Gilgeous-Alexander, they will receive 2 talented prospects that they could develop and topping in quickly, and add 3 more first-rounders to their growing collection of future draft assets. So, basically, I did both the Heat and Knicks talk. Let's see. Also in news, this is football news. Lamar Jackson works with Ravens playmakers in Arizona. The extra work that the Ravens vowed to put in this offseason has launched. Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, J.K. Dobbins, and Sammy Watkins are working out together in Arizona, where Andrews makes his offseason home. Trace Carroll, tight ends coach at Pinnacle High School in Phoenix, spread the word about the Ravens offensive playmakers working out together on social media. And you could find this on Baltimore Ravens at Ravens on Twitter. Ravens players opted out of attending in-person voluntary workouts this offseason, but they're still working. For Jackson, Brown, and Dobbins to visit Arizona in April to join Andrews is another example of the player's commitment to take the offense to another level. Brown talked about the approach he would take to training this offseason following Baltimore's playoff loss to Buffalo Bills. 2 weeks ago, a video on Instagram showed Jackson and Brown working out with free agent wide receiver Antonio Brown in South Florida. I know this for a fact. This offseason is going to be the best offseason, and we're going to go to work, Brown said, and we're going to come back motivated and ready to go. The COVID-19 pandemic severely limited how much offseason time players could spend together in 2020, but Brown said it would be important for Ravens players to spend more time on the field together as they prepare for the 2021 season. I did a lot of training alone this past offseason, Brown said. I want to train with my teammates. I want my teammates to be involved. I want us to have that chemistry and stuff. When we're on the field, get all the guys together. As much work we can do together is good if possible. Now, yeah. Now, let's start with the Heat. All right, so basically, sorry for that. I was reading something else. I'll talk about that another time. All right, so the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have been dealing with injuries all year. They had a chance. There were talks about trading for James Harden, and one of the proposals, I believe, was to let Tyler Hero go. Now, Tyler Hero, had a great run in the bubble, which to me was a BS because the bubble really is showing that a lot of these players are really not that good. So ever since the bubble was to me overrated. I just think that was just something for the Brownies to talk about and say, oh, I got another chip. Ha ha ha. You know, it's always all about him. Now, Tyler Hero has had a very poor season. So has Duncan Robinson. But The problem to me is, and me and LB, shout out to LB So Wave, we talked about this stuff, where these guys are trying to put their brand above what they do on the court. And this has been a problem. If Tyler Hero was a black player, if Bam Adebayo was doing what he was doing, or even Kendrick Nunn was doing what he was doing, they would be blasted or they would probably be traded. Like, let's be honest, man. We got to stop all this double standard and these lies we live in. Because he's white and because he has that type of style, and he would attract a lot of the white, locals, because there's a lot of white people who come to the game from Miami. That brings money in. So they're not going to just get rid of Hero like that and have a team full of black folks. That's not going to sell in Miami. Florida, period. Now, Tyler Hero, I like him. I think he could be a good player one of these days. Potentially could be great, but it's still a lot of stuff he has to work on. He has to work on his defense. Defensively, he hasn't really looked all that this year. To me, in big games this year, he has come up short. They did well against the Spurs today, but overall, he has not been looking that well. Now, to cut him some slack, this is his second year. Usually, the sophomore slump happens for players, and then after their sophomore slump, they're able to get better in their junior year and even more when they hit the NBA. Now, last year he averaged 15 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. He was 82% from the free throw line. He attempted 2 free throws a game, made 2 free throws a game. From the 2-point line, from the inside of the 3-point arc, he was shooting 49%. He attempted 8 2-pointers, 3% from the 3. He's 33%. He attempted 6 and he's made 2. His field goal percentage was 42%, which isn't good at all. In the playoffs, he got better. Now, and he was playing 31 minutes. Now, this year, he's averaging 14 points, when last year he was averaging 15. Turnovers, he was averaging about the same, too. Steals, he's averaging about 1. Assist, he's lower than last year. He's at 2. Total rebounds, 4. He came down a little bit. Free throws, he's gotten a lot better. He's shooting 87% and he attempts about 2. He's made 2. His 2-point percentage, he is at 46%. He attempts 6 of those. Now, 3-point wise, he's gotten better. He's at 39% and he's attempted 5 and made like 2. From the field, he's 43%. Because he shoots a lot of threes, so I expect that to be low. But he has not had a good season. They were expecting Tyler to get better as the season went on, and then when Jimmy was hurt, now he's been hurt too, so I don't want everybody to get upset. But when Jimmy Butler was hurt as well, he did not step up, and he has not been looking that well. So to me, I think he needs to focus on his play on the court. The problem is that he's trying to be a celebrity. To me, what these guys have to do, they have got to leave these Instagram thoughts alone and get their career right on the floor. Like, they need to do like Derek Jeter did. Derek Jeter is the perfect example. He was smashing all these broads, chilling, and he got married and worried about celebrity after he retired. After he won a championship, after he put some time into Major League. And Tyler Hero needs to take a page out of that book and stop worrying about these females and your game, dude. You it's called not for long when you're it's called not for long when you're in the league. Seriously. And I'm tired of all these young athletes just coming in and they think they're the best. They think they're up there when at the end of the day, they're not. Okay, so we have got to cut out this notion that I can just do my brand and get my brand out there before I actually do something on the court. And he needs to be careful because to me, I felt like they should have unloaded the trigger to bring James Harden there. I think James Harden on that team with Miami would have fit perfectly. Him and Jimmy would have worked off each other, and it would have gave Bam. It would have been a good big three. You'd had Jimmy. Jimmy would have facilitated, focused on defense, and scored and closed the game while Harden facilitates the game, control the pace of the game, and then Bam could close as well as Jimmy. That would have been a perfect fit. But like I said, Pat Riley sees something in this kid. I just think because he's white and Duncan Robinson is white, he wants to keep them there so they can bring and attract the right people to that team. Now, let's go to the Knicks. Now, it would be a bad trade for the Knicks to trade away all those picks and those players because I like Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. I think if you let them develop, they will be something special. But if you can get SGA, who to me I think he has a borderline to being a star or / superstar, I would bring him in because I think you would have a 1-2 punch with him and Julius Randle. You would have to get rid of RJ Barrett as well. RJ Barrett would not work well with SGA because Barrett needs the ball in his hands as well as SGA. Now SGA could play off the ball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can play well off the ball. He also can defend. He's a very good to great defender. This year they haven't done well because they've lost a lot of pieces and they lost Chris Paul, who was that floor general and leader. Shai, he could do that at times, but their team is young and they don't have the talent, and some of the guys haven't lived up to expectations, so you might be seeing some of them be moved as well. But I don't know about that trade. I wouldn't do it. I would try to develop that young core and then go into free agency and pick up a veteran because to me, they just need another veteran to add with Derrick Rose in them and Julius Randle, and I think that team could get over the top in a few, maybe 3 years in tops. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, I'm very proud of Lamar. He's taken the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady approach by working out in the offseason, doing something productive, and I like what he's doing. But Lamar's going to have to show and prove this year on the field because that last game you played was very piss poor. You got outplayed tremendously. So you have to step up to the table. You know, you got beat. So now we have to see if you're going to if you're going to take the next step. You got to, man. I mean, there's no more excuses, man. You got to take the next step. This is your 4th season or 5th season. Your first 3 seasons have been spectacular. But now it's time for you to take the next step. And I believe he will this year. I believe he will, and I believe he can. Patience comes with time. Harbaugh's still the coach. I think Harbaugh's a good coach. I just think offensively they need to change up what they're doing and expand their playbook. Expand if they're going to run the same sets. They need to basically make better plays. They need to have better plays within those packages. If they're going to run the same packages, you have to switch the plays up within those packages to be successful. I have high hopes for them, but I still think the Browns, I'm leaning towards the Browns to win this year. I think the Browns might win that division. And I think the Steelers, they could be second or the Ravens could be third. The Steelers and Ravens are going to be battling back and forth for number 2. The Bengals, they still are going to have a year or 2 left. They got to add some pieces around Burrow. So that's all I got, man. Let me know. I mean, in the comment section, do you think Tyler Hero is becoming a prima donna? Also, do you think the Knicks should make that trade for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to add to Julius Randle to build a powerhouse in New York? and Lamar Jackson doing what he does. Do you believe Lamar Jackson could take the next step or not? Thank you for listening, and we're out. Deezy.